was to do things that we enjoy most of the time. Have relationships.
Jump off that exhausting hamster wheel and into balanced living with Dr. Marissa.
Promise you joy in the mystery.
Dr. Marissa, also known as the Asian Oprah. Her mission, to be a beneficial presence on the planet. Her purpose, to be your personal advocate to live, laugh, love, learn. Her life motto, don't die wondering. Take back your life with Dr. Marissa Pay.
And welcome. You are tuned into Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get Balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show here on NBC News, CNBC News, and NBC Sports radio station KCAA, AM 1050, FM 102.3, FM 106.5, and streaming everywhere. iHeartRadio, Spotify, Stitcher, Amazon Music, Audible, JioSaavn, Podchaser, iTunes, TuneIn, Rumble, Tiki Live, and more. Why so many places? Because I want a maximum splatter zone to have hope and happiness. So there's no gossip, no scandal, and no K words on this show at all. No Kanye talk. I want you to focus on your own reality show and how you can be happy 88% of the time. So I have topics and guests to that. And I answer questions on how to better take criticism and compliments. I have guests like Layla Ali or Corey Feldman or Fran Drescher to talk about how to reduce your risk of cancer. And then a plethora of very interesting special series like Radio for Our Deaf Community, Sexual Healing with Dr. Marissa, although that was when I had a weekly show first thing in the morning at 8 talking about sex. Might be a little early, but I'm all about how you can make your life feel a little better without it being illegal. But I am so delighted because I not all the time have repeat guests, but definitely when I meet people who I adopt into my tribe, my Happy 88 tribe. I love to have them back. And today is no exception. I have a gentleman who, I told both of them, they came in early, I knew it, and they just started right away. And I'm like, don't talk because I want to save it for the show. And they're so delightful. You remember Ron Klein, he came a few years back. And he is the grandfather of possibilities. You all know him, even though you don't think you know him, because he's the inventor. I'm going to show off my credit cards here, but this guy. So here's a credit card. Don't get the number. There's no money there. This little magnetic strip is one of his many, many inventions. And I thought, because Arlene definitely wins the most active on social media, Facebook, of all the wise women that I know, who really, most women, I think her age, and she's ageless. I'm not going to say how old she is, but she might share it, who is so active on Facebook that I just love it. And we were talking about conflict management a few weeks back. And she popped up and talking about 62 years married. And I thought, I'm going to have him back with a twist. And the twist is his beautiful wife, Arlene Klein. So they're both joining me today to talk about a whole host of things. So please welcome to the studio, Ron and Arlene Klein. Welcome, welcome.
Well, thank you. What an introduction. Oh my goodness. And you're the best. You're just the best.
Well, I just love you too. And I know that if we lived closer, you're in Florida, I'm in California, the better sunny state, but just saying, because we're not sweltering over here. I understand you guys are sweltering.
No.
Yeah.
Air conditioners on. It's great.
No,
it's fine.
terrific.
It's fine.
We love it.
I'm sure you do. And I'm glad you're there and not me. But anyways, so I'm so happy that you could both join me because you definitely favorite people right here in studio, tuning in from Florida. And I warned them, that since I started the morning show, I wanted to anchor people in some practices that will not start your day in the normal way where you open your eyes, you reach for your device, and you begin to read bad news, or you turn your TV or radio on and it's bad news and it just gets worse through the day. So I want you to have breakfast with me, and we're going to take a bite of my gratitude sandwich. So the top of the bun on my gratitude sandwich is 8 specific things that you're grateful for. And then at the end of the day at night, the bottom of the bun is 8 things that you appreciate about yourself. And I promise, if you have breakfast with me for 30 consecutive days and you actually practice with me, and if you're tuned in now, I see some eyeballs, I want you to write or turn to the person beside you and follow along and do your own gratitudes, because that way you're going to prime yourself to look for good things. So I already asked you if you would, and you already said yes, so you can't back out now. So we're going to start. I'm going to say, I am grateful to have met you both. I want to say maybe 10 years ago. We'll have to do less than that.
Less than that.
Less than that.
Yes.
I believe it was at Secret Knock.
It was.
Secret Knock with Greg Reed, my bud, and his fabulous son.
Yeah,
in
LA.
LA. In LA. I think it's the one across from the JW Marriott. Was that the one?
The one.
There you go. I
Okay.
still got it. And I'm so grateful to have met both of you and continue our relationship long distance over social media. So that's my first gratitude. And we'll go to Arlene. You get the second one.
I'm grateful when I am able to get out of bed and put my feet on the ground and walk. And
perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect. Ron?
I am likewise, I'm grateful for being here at this age and sharing whatever I have to share, if people will listen, with them. So I am just so grateful to be here, and I've made it this far.
Wonderful. And Ron is 87. He just had a birthday. That was the other reason why I wanted them on to celebrate his birthday. So I'm grateful that I have a home gym downstairs in my building that if I don't think about it, I actually get there first thing in the morning to work out and keep my health healthy. And I've dropped 27 pounds since Valentine's Day so that I can actually feel good enough or attractive enough to start dating again. So that's
you're always gorgeous.
You go out with 87-year-old men?
Pardon?
Would you go out with 87-year-old men?
Depends on who they are. You're married already. You're married. We're going to ignore that.
It's lend a husband.
Lend a husband. No, this is not the wife swap show today. That is not the show. But Quincy Jones, I would date in a California second for sure. So I think I don't know if he's as old as you, but anyways, on to the gratitude number 1, 2, 3, 4. Arlene, 5.
I'm grateful for the ordinary things that no one should take for granted, like electricity and running water and a hot shower.
Beautiful. Ron?
I'm grateful for being married to this lovely woman for going on 63 years. I wouldn't give it up for anything in the world.
Oh, wait. I'm so glad that you did. I didn't have to make you do that.
Can I add one other phrase to it?
Of course.
It's working out so well. I told her, let's start living together.
But I really, Polly, remind me to put on sound effects because that deserved it. Bum. But anyways, all right. And I'm grateful. I think 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is 7. I am grateful. I'm grateful that I have figured out how to maximize the stops on the joyride of my life. And people say all the time, you're so busy, you're everywhere. Just relax. And my response is, why would I relax when I'm having so much fun doing everything that I do? And I'm grateful that I have not listened to anyone who said you have to focus on one thing and one thing only, and you can't, you master, what is that? Jack of all trades, master of none. That is BS belief system that you can only do one thing in life. And most of the time you hate it after a while, and you still have to do it because you're tied to the money. So I am grateful that I have been able to just juice my life, and every single day and moment and hour and minute is so precious that I get to do 88% of the time. I love what I do. Then
that's very important. It
Yes.
really is. It makes a big difference.
It is.
It's like James Michener, work is play, play is work. It's all one and the same. It all blends.
Yeah.
And it's good. It's not work if you enjoy what you're doing.
Exactly.
Really, never work. Okay.
And last gratitude, toss up, point to the one who you want to do the last gratitude. 1, 2, 3, point.
I guess I'll do it. I've got the bigger mouth. So they tell me I'm the boss. So, okay. I'm grateful for the years that I have had fur babies in my life, because they have been my reason of being. They're my purpose, and they make me happy. And I always say that if I have fur in my hands and a breeze blowing in my face and beautiful music playing, it's complete. It's wonderful.
I couldn't say it any better than that. That was beautiful. And that's the top of the bun. We're going to start with the bottom of the bun and do it very quickly, which is the 8 things that I appreciate about myself. We're going to try to keep it to one word so we're already 20 minutes into the show. I knew we were going to run out of time, but we're still having breakfast here. So Ron, what is one thing I'll start so you know what I'm talking about. What's one thing that you appreciate about yourself? I appreciate that I have a big mouth. Ron?
I appreciate my ability to have humor in my life and also to be able to be productive. And I'm delighted that I don't know how to play bingo.
Okay, so that's 3. That's 3. That's good. That's 3. Mine's 4. Arlene, you can do 3 too. What do you appreciate about yourself? What do you appreciate? And I love your reaction, because this is exactly why I do this. A lot of people are really good at affirming or supporting or complimenting other people, but to really, appreciate yourself is not something we learn. We learn, don't pat yourself on the back. Don't be all that. Don't toot your own horn. Don't. All those things that keep us from really affirming and soothing ourselves. So what happens is when we don't appreciate ourselves, we go looking for love in all the wrong places. Who likes me? Literally, how many likes do I have? How many comments do I have? But the ability to say, I am, right? I am funny, as Ron said, I am productive. I said, I am fearless, right? Because I put myself out there. What do you appreciate about yourself?
Gee, that's a hard one. Because I never think about it. I just kind of do my thing. It's kind of funny because I was invited to be a chapter in Dr. Letran's book, and what was I? The awesome wife. Okay, I'm grateful for that, but I don't even look at myself like that. So
Right.
maybe I should say I'm grateful for my humility.
Okay, so you appreciate. So gratitude is outside yourself.
Okay, yes.
Appreciation is inside. So you
Yeah.
appreciate your humility. Yeah. And I would finish with I appreciate your connectivity. So you are a connective person. So you can add that. And what I would ask you to do is after the show is just sit with your journal and I have this exercise in here that's like a circle. I probably can't find it right now, but it asks you, who are you? You know, and that question is really important to fill in all the qualities you are, because then no matter what happens during the day, doesn't change who you are. So something doesn't go well, and maybe you have a non-connective moment, right? Someone gets mad at you or something. It's like, well, that doesn't take away from my quality. It's just the 12% of the time it doesn't come true. I think I am loving and caring, but not all the time. So I give myself a break. 88% of the time I am, and 12% of the time I'm not. And it's okay. So I'm using this as a little happy 88 tool. Thank you for letting me do that. But if you've just tuned in, we just finished breakfast. We had a bite of my gratitude sandwich. And if you recognize them, it is the amazing Ron and Arlene Klein. I'm going to read a little specific stuff that you may not know, especially about Arlene, who does support. And I've always said that behind a successful man is an even more successful, supportive woman. So this is a case here. Anne Klein, also known as the Designing Poet, is an author, writer, poet, and editor whose published works have been nominated for Dog Writers Association of America Maxwell Awards. Great. A passionate animal lover. You just have to go to her wall to see that. Dedicated to animal health and welfare. She has served on national boards of directors and is a trustee emeritus of Morris Animal Foundation. She has been a spokesperson nationwide and on the media about the beauty of the human-animal bond and both the responsibility and the joy of having dogs and cats. Please welcome to the studio, Arlene Klein. So before
I'm really honored to be here because as I say, I take these things like, okay, I'll tell you just a real cute little story, because these are big accomplishments for me when I can just come on, talk, not read from notes and all that. Because as I sat on the Morris Animal Foundation board with my dear friend Betty White, yes, we were friends for over 20 years, and I would be sitting at the board table and I would have to get up. I would have to give a report because I headed up different divisions, and she would put a microphone in front of my face and she would say, "Darling, speak up." And it was the worst thing in the world for me. It was terrible. So those things just, I'm old now. It doesn't matter. And by the way, I'm 82.
wow.
So, and I'm proud of that. I really am.
You look amazing. You really do. Because I was going to say octogenarian couple, but I wasn't sure how old you were. I knew that Ron was 87, but that's amazing. And I'm really bummed out right now, because if I had known that you were that close to Betty White, I would have totally used you and bribed you to get her on the show, because I love Betty White. I actually was at her house. She'd already passed, but I do broadcast journalism, and they sent me to cover, her house when she had passed. And you're so lucky.
Oh, she was an angel in our life, and the world lost a light when she went, because nobody in this world loved animals more than she did.
That's so beautiful.
She was very special.
I had no idea, because I knew you were on dog and cat stuff, but I didn't know it was her dog and cat stuff, because I also had Tony Tennille on the show. Remember Love?
Right, I do.
Love will keep us together. She was friends with Betty White and did all that stuff as well. So, wow, small world. But thank you. And now Ron Klein is the grandfather of possibilities. He's an inventor, innovator, strategic advisor, business consultant, and speaker. An ordinary man, yeah, right, who has accomplished extraordinary things that have changed the world. He's the inventor of the credit card magnetic strip validity checking system, the developer of MLS for real estate, voice response for the banking industry, bond quotation and trade information for the New York Stock Exchange, and the inventor of Eli technology. As an icon who's appeared on CBS, NBC, ABC, and graced the pages of Inc., Forbes, Stickability, Think and Grow Rich, and the Asian Oprah twice, and numerous other books, he's a humble man who continues to share his wit, wisdom, and brilliance. Please welcome to my studio. Welcome back to my studio, Ron Klein. There you go. The
And I'm lucky
formal.
to have them.
Wow. I'm lucky enough to have her. Really, we've got such a wonderful marriage. And, sure, there's always ups and downs and things like that, but she's my best friend. And I've learned so much. Supposedly, you read my bio and I'm so brilliant and all this. I've learned so much as to how to be a decent human being from Arlene.
Aw, what's the
Isn't
number
that-
one lesson? What's the number one lesson that you've learned from Arlene? What's a keeper?
A keeper
Yeah.
is, there's a word called listen.
What?
There's a word called listen.
She says,
What?
What am I?
What? Listen. What? That's a joke. That was a joke.
You have to listen and be silent when it's necessary.
You didn't get my joke.
No.
It was listen. I said what?
Oh, that was funny.
Well, I thought, my husband told me almost every day that I wasn't funny. So the best thing about
I'm trying to be
divorce.
serious, and it's very difficult for me to be serious.
Yes,
but-
we know that.
Yes, okay. But I've learned a lot from her. I'm so delighted. Most important is I'm so delighted that people are still willing to listen to me and take my advice in areas where I feel it's not just an opinion, it's advice. And I've had a lot of exposure because I'm so old and I've seen so much, and that I want to share that with everyone else because we're not all here for that long a period of time.
Absolutely. That's awesome. And you do have a lot to share. 87 years. At what age did you start inventing?
My first invention, the credit card, was I started in 1964 and I applied for the patent in 1966. It was awarded in 69. So I would say I really started inventing in 1964.
How old were you then?
I don't know.
30 some years old.
37. Okay. And when did you get married?
No, 30. I'm born in 35, invented the credit card in
64.
64. So 31.
31. And how old were you when you married Arlene?
24. And she was
24. So from 24, 6 years, when you first met, how did you meet?
Oh, that's a great
funny
story.
one.
Yay. Thank you.
Tell me.
You tell your story.
Okay.
I want your version first and then her version.
Okay. I'm also a musician. I play the guitar and I started at age 6 and I love it. And I was on the Paul Whiteman show and talent shows. And I was on TV, all that nonsense. And I played when I was going to college. I played in the college band, a little group, and I had a saxophone player. And he said, "You know what?" He said, I know this little girl. She's really cool, beautiful. You would love her. She's perfect for you. Here's her number. Give her a call." I called her up and I said, "Love to take you out." And I met her. And in the first 5 minutes, she said, "Let's have a good time tonight. and let's go out. However, I want to be home by 10:30. I figured, okay, she wants to be home by 10:30. We came home. I kissed her goodnight.
You have to
gave her a
speed
little
it up
check,
because you don't have an hour.
gave her a little peck on the cheek, and I said, I gave her a call, and I said, let's go out again. Again, she said, I have to be home by 10:30. At that time, when I took her to the door, I said, maybe it's best if we don't go out again because, I don't want to infringe on your time and you have to be home at 10:30. So goodbye. It's been great knowing you. I get a phone call the next day and she said, you want to go steady? Now, in those days, that meant you can call me again. And I said, I would love it. We started dating and now I didn't have to have her home until 10:55.
Okay, so go back one thing. You called her not knowing what she looked like?
My buddy who played the saxophone said, she's really cute. She's small. You'll love her.
I don't know how cute I was, but I was small.
No, you were
okay.
cute.
So you didn't know what she looked like when you called her and said, let's have a date.
Oh, no.
Okay, so then you go to pick her up. And so Arlene, you didn't know what he looked like, or did you know what he looked like?
No, I didn't. But when he came, I thought he was adorable.
Okay, so that was your first reaction. He looks adorable. And then Ron, what was your reaction?
Wow, a winner. And I love her parents. Her parents were so nice.
So why 10:30, Arlene?
I was just coming out of another romance, and it was, I don't know, whatever. I think it was just timing. Maybe I just wasn't ready for it.
Okay, so 10:30 was your protection?
That's right.
Okay, so like
it was like, I've had enough of the evening. Just take me home.
Okay, but then once he put his foot down, you went, whoa, Nelly, to yourself and said, maybe this is something I want to keep doing?
Right. And then it threw me in control, I suppose. Not that I was a control freak. I really wasn't. I think it was just the timing because I had just broken up with somebody and they had gone off to college. And I thought, this is not realistic.
Yeah.
This is just not going to work. But my heart was still somewhere else, I take it.
Okay. So, but your heart, your mind guided your heart, because I think in those days for you to call him up was already a little bit weird. And then for you to call and say, you want to go steady, that's pretty forward for that time, no?
Sure. I probably didn't even realize what I was saying.
She did a lot of molding though, because I was a rough and tumble kid and she did a lot of molding.
Did a lot of what?
Molding.
Oh, molding. I thought you said moaning. And I'm like, wait a minute here. This is the PG show.
My parents liked him better than I did.
Really? Okay. So he grew on you.
He did.
He did.
Now I wouldn't give him up for all the rice in China.
Oh, that's a
lot.
Right.
And, it's interesting, Marissa, because as we age, and literally, I'm not saying this to be cute, but literally every single day, there's loved ones, friends, our age and younger, that are all dying right before our eyes. Yesterday, the last 2 days, were two really upsets for me, and I'm not going to go into them. One very sick, and one passed away at 71. It was like, oh my God. But these things happen, and I walked into Ron, and I had just taken a picture of a sunrise from the terrace. It was gorgeous. It was just gorgeous. And I said, I needed this today. I really did. And I walked in and I said, give me a hug. I said, I'm so grateful you're here. We're alive. We have each other. So, each day is more meaningful. It truly does. It really does. But, when you're young and you're busy raising kids and he's busy building public companies and doing all that he was doing, we were one heart, we were two minds, and we had our interests and life that we were living, and but he was supportive of everything that I did. I was supportive of everything that he did.
She
And
was a wonderful corporate wife.
loves the animals, and was right.
How many animals do you have?
Oh, now everybody, 11 we've lost already. And they're all at Rainbow Bridge. And,
Yeah.
each one takes a piece of
Mhm.
your heart. And we just have one now. We have a gorgeous ragdoll cat. She's just amazing.
Aw.
And
But we've had 6 dogs at
we've
one
had
time.
as many as 6 at a time. I showed Yorkies for 30 some years.
Oh, I had a Yorkie. Her
Did
name
you?
was Princess Sasha. She lived to 13. And
Yes.
she was my mate when I was young and hot and modeling and dating. And
They're
every guy knew that if they took me out, we had to buy 2 entrees, one for me and one for her.
And
Well,
they are princesses and princes. But yes, I showed them for so many years, and our house was absolutely crazy, and it was the best years of our life. It was crazy.
Aw,
Loved it.
Loved it,
beautiful.
loved it. So this one came with quite a few problems. Had a screwy owner that actually surrendered her. A
Mm,
big, gorgeous cat. So she came with some head problems, and I really did get into her head. It's taken a long time.
yeah.
She's with me 3 years now, but oh my goodness, she's like Velcro to me. If you came, you might never see her because she disappears. She's not.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's beautiful. Now, you both admit that he was a little bit rough around the edges. You had to do a little molding. Is that what was the one? No, it was not true. That's just Ron being
He was soft spoken. He was adorable. But I had dated boys that were more uppity. And that's probably why my parents loved him, because they thought, what do you want with those people? What's with you? Because they come in here looking like Brooks Brothers. That's why. I had images, and he wasn't quite that image. But that's also unimportant. It's such nonsense. You realize later.
What's the most important glue that you would say kept you together for 62 years?
Loyalty. Women have men that are cheating on them all the time. I didn't have a husband that would have looked at anybody else. I mean, I was his life, and he was a wonderful father, and he was a marvelous provider. And if anybody tells you that they're married this long and it's all a bed of roses, it's not. It's ups and it's downs, and it's work, and it's knowing when not to say the next word, because you might have World War III, and you just back off. Maybe I mumble it under my breath, but I just look the other way. And I'm not that kind of person. I could get pretty confrontational. My daughter says I'm Grandma Dynamite.
And we heal in 2 minutes. Whatever confrontation we have, we heal in 2 minutes.
How do you heal in 2 minutes?
Because the true love is there.
Yeah, give a hug and a kiss, and okay, go back to what you were doing. That's all. Your business. I get it. It's fine.
The one opportunity we did have, and I'm so grateful for it, we got married very young. Arlene was 19, I was 24. We grew up with our children and our grandchildren, which was a pleasure. It was a treat. And
how many kids?
2 children. One will be 61 in a couple weeks. That's our son. Our daughter, will be 59. She's been happily married for 34 years. Grandchildren, the eldest granddaughter is going on 31, living in Chicago. Her younger sister, 27, living in Seattle. That's my the daughter's children. And our son's has 2 sons. And Alex is 23 and Michael is 20. So we very close with these kids, in spite of the fact that some are out of state and we can't see them, and then the pandemic and just everything. But we're on Zoom. I actually do a book club, which I facilitate with the 27-year-old in Seattle and the 23-year-old grandson who lives in Orlando. So, and it's great. We're on the same page. And when you talked about breakfast,
literally, you're on the same page.
We're on
Yeah.
the same page.
They think we're cool.
In the book. In the
they-
book.
They do. And I, it was out of the box for me to facilitate a book club. I'm thinking, what in heaven's name am I doing? She's magna cum laude. I mean, she could bury me. He just graduated college 2 years ago, and I'm going to facilitate. And what was the first book? Breakfast with Seneca. Seneca, the letters of Seneca. We're reading philosophy. And we were all on the same page. Oh, what's the next book? I said, Alex, your suggestion. We just finished Matthew McConaughey, Green Lights. We just finished that. Now we're into Born a Crime. Trevor. There you go. Okay.
Well, I'll get that. That could be on the list somewhere down the line.
All right,
I would love to get your take on it.
Yeah, I'll suggest that next. Absolutely. Now, of course, they've both read my books.
Yeah, and show those. And what's the name of the? Okay, we've got.
This is Ron's biography that I wrote.
Oh, wonderful! I didn't know you had that.
Yes, that's an inspirational biography about Ron Klein, the grandfather of possibilities.
Wonderful.
And this was first copyright 208, and then we changed the cover, and I made some changes. And copyright 2 was in 2014.
Okay. All right. Do you have one to give away as the Asian Oprah giveaway?
Sure.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Absolutely.
Cool.
Give a copy of that.
If you want to know the full details of this amazing man that has really changed our world and automated many things that you have touched you, then the Asian Oprah giveaway is the book written by his beautiful wife, who is going to, I'll get your name. Go the first person to go to drmarissa.life and put in grandfather of possibilities. How's that? That'll be the key word. So I'll know that you are getting it from this broadcast, and I'll send you the name, and we'll get that out to them.
Okay.
Great.
All right.
And the other book is I Never Wanted to Say Goodbye. And these were poems that I wrote when I lost dogs, back to back, 3 weeks apart. And Betty White did the foreword on this.
Wow.
And this was nominated for a Dog Writers Award for Maxwell. And I have the honor of reading some of these because I've been invited. It's August 13th. That's the Bronx Book Fair. And they're doing it virtual. And I have 7 minutes. I've been invited as a presenter to read my poetry. So that's Saturday, August 13th at 4 o'clock.
3 days after my birthday. Maybe I'll go up to Florida. How do we get your books? Let me put this on the ticker tape so that people can.
I'm out. I'm not doing too much from website anymore.
Okay.
They're all on Amazon, but if I want to make these as gifts, how do I do that?
I will talk to you offline and we'll figure that out. But so on Amazon,
they are on
give me the titles again.
Okay. This is I Never Wanted to Say Goodbye.
Okay.
A collection of poems.
You know what? I'm just going to say Google Arlene.
Can you see
Arlene
that?
Klein. And both books should come up, right? On Amazon.
They should.
Google Arlene Klein, author.
Right.
Both books.
Yes. And on the grandfather, you want the second edition. I think they've discontinued the first that had a different cover.
Edition of
the one with the black cover and the brain.
Got it. Perfect. Perfect. Great. Now let's go back to Eli. When we first chatted, that was just an idea that you were working on. And so explain what Eli is, because I thought that was just amazing of an invention. Go ahead.
Eli is a marketing studio where you can create a robust story all about yourself, or your business and anything that you want to talk about with just scanning a code. We use the QR code as the doorway into the marketing studio. And the marketing studio is used in real estate, it's used in utilities, it's used in just about every vertical market there is. And it's a way to tell your story and make instantaneous changes in a second. And it's real simple.
So this is a little different than when you first were doing it. It was you could scan and help blind people who didn't know what was in a package or a container to easily identify what. And I was fascinated by that. So this is now blossomed.
That was the start of it. In other words, my first idea was, how can I help the blind, and come up with this app on the phone where you can point the phone, a little sticker, you paste the sticker on what you want to identify, you point the phone at the sticker, and it tells you what it is. And it works so well, and it was so great. And then I started thinking about it. What can we do for the sighted world? If it works so great for the blind, why can't it help the sighted world? And then it just grew into this marketing studio that was just unlimited in all of its capability.
Wow.
And it's grow.
Wow. I'll have to check that out for sure. Now, I asked Ron what the secret glue was to 62 years together. You mentioned, Arlene, that it's not a lot of, that it is a lot of work. So a question that I get a lot is, what is too much work and what is not enough work? So when do you know a relationship has gone past its shelf life?
Well, first of all, if you must have communication, you must have respect. Without those two things, there's nothing, and you need that from both parties. So to answer your question, when would enough be enough? If one is doing it, but the other's not meeting you with it. That's what I would say. Yep. And I can't speak from experience with that, because that hasn't happened in my life. Now, there were times I had to kind of shake them a little bit and say, hey, you're listening to her, him, my turn. And then all of a sudden he'll come to his senses. And that happens because of busy schedules. By the time you reach this age, you're moving a little bit slower. And even though we're still hitting the ground running, we've backed off with a lot of things. We're not traveling. Yeah. The pandemic took care of that. Certain physical things, sight that has diminished with him. It's hard. And I think you were there when he was starting at Secret Knock, when he was starting to have neck problems. So, your body starts to wear out. We're grateful that our minds are still going. Mm-hmm. Do we forget things sometimes? Sure. But that will say that's because we're multitasking. And besides that, they say, if you remember that you forgot, you're not in bad trouble yet.
For sure. I say that I have photographic memory, but sometimes I'm out of disk space.
Exactly.
For sure.
And you're much younger. But you mellow, you humble. As you age, you are accepting of more things that maybe bothered me years ago. I'm a type A personality. Everything had to be just so. And now I don't care if the gorgeous cat is sitting on my dining room table, which is custom done, in front of a turn of the century rose medallion bowl. What's she going to do to it? Mm-hmm. What do I care? It's stuff.
Right.
It's, and your values change a little bit.
Did you ever reach a point where you asked yourself, is this really working in your relationship? Or has it always been that foundation of respect and loyalty?
I think it's always been respect and loyalty, but
she's my best friend as well as my wife.
Mm. And you've never been tempted meeting people when you're traveling at different places?
No.
We're one mind. We think the same.
No, she's asking, did you ever want to meet somebody when you were traveling? You did a lot of traveling without me.
Oh, no. My heart is always at my home.
Mm.
Yeah, he always came home.
Even when she's out for a day, I miss her.
Oh,
Well, that's because
so
I drive
beautiful.
him around. I drive him around, and I'm better than an Uber.
That is so beautiful. At
I
what
don't,
point?
I don't charge him. I don't get tipped, and I'm always on time.
And
Maybe
she
you
feeds
become.
me too. I will say, in the last 3 years during this pandemic, she is an incredible cook. I mean, we eat phenomenally well. I mean, so healthy that our numbers are incredible.
Yeah, they
the
are.
doctors think that we have blood work of 20-year-olds.
Wow.
Well, I
That's-
was always a good cook when I was cooking and doing dinner parties and things like that. But now it's different kind of cooking.
Mhm,
It's healthy. It's
mhm.
organic. It's different. And, and I think that's what's keeping us in I won't even say good shape. I'll say decent shape.
Mhm, mhm.
Decent shape.
So I have an octogenarian series because I think one of the things that has um, been a missed opportunity for us is I watch all the people that are in the old folks' homes, and they once in a while get a visitor, and there's so much wisdom and so much knowledge and experience that octogenarians have that maybe is never even heard or shared. And so I want to take advantage as we finish up here. All the stuff that's going on right now, there's a lot of stuff going on. I mean, you just can't even, as soon as you wake up, something else is happening, and gun violence and pro this and anger, red, blue, and, Trump or no Trump, and the pandemic and mask and vaccine and depression and suicide. I mean, just like daily onslaughts of all this stuff, climate change, just so much stuff. In your 80 plus years, what advice can you give to anyone who is feeling just a sense of hopelessness that maybe they have never felt before?
We watch our grandchildren. My heart hurts for them. It really does. And for all young people, because this world is crazy. And I don't know. I hope it can be fixed. If I had to prioritize the number one things that are bothering me, because it all bothers me. And sometimes I'll just say to Ron, turn it off. I can only do what I can do. So I would say to others, do your share. Do your share, whatever that is, whether it's to recycle, whether it's to be kind to somebody, because the world needs that. It truly needs that. There was always war, there were always diseases, there were things, but we lived in a better world where you had patriotism. I mean, I was born, it was 1940. It wasn't the best time for my mother to have a baby. The war, and I mean, there were terrible things going on, but people were different. And the government, well, there's always been things going on, but I don't think it affected the people and the democracy as this is going on.
I think what Arlene is saying, and I sum it up in a very simple sentence: be a contributor, not just a consumer.
Exactly.
Whatever you can contribute, it's in the right direction. Does it solve all of the problems? I think I can. I wish Congress would sit down long enough and listen to me, because I have solutions for a lot of things. But of course, being an 87-year-old man, they would say you're nothing but a dribbling old fool here. But I know how to fix a lot of things.
Yes, you do, and you've done that in your track record. So, to sum you up,
the answer to anything, Marissa, is simplify and enhance and make it better.
So give me an example. If I were Congress, if I represented Congress and I gave you 1 minute, right? What is one thing that it's a low-hanging fruit that you think would make a vast difference right now?
Take advantage of what nature gives us and utilize it.
Like?
The sun. there's more energy from that ball of fire out there in space than we would ever need. And fix the consumption problem of stop burning fossil fuels. Utilize the sun, utilize wind power. We can use some atomic power, and we'll fix the climate control, and then we'll be able to have enough energy.
The climate change,
and we'll have enough energy in this world to really supplement what we need. But take advantage of what we have, and we're not using it. And I can give lots of examples.
if they don't fix the planet, which would be my first priority also, then all the rest doesn't matter, because we will perish.
We're destroying the wildlife, and we're destroying the vegetation that keeps this planet together.
I think people have to realize that everything on earth is lent to us. It's lent to us.
Yeah.
And treat it kindly. Treat it kindly, because otherwise it is going to be taken away from us.
What struck me was that expression, what have you done for me lately? And that does seem to be a prevailing, sentiment, is everybody's looking for, what are you doing for me, instead of saying, what can I do for you, or what can I do for the planet, or what can I do? And that's my focus, has always been, we can talk about the problem, but I want to talk about the solution. I'd rather talk about the solution more than talking about the problem.
Absolutely.
I'm not a show that rants. I don't like to rant, because then you're getting into that same negative, hating, intolerant, angry, hostile energy that continues to take us down.
So you're 100% right.
It's a thinking process. Simplify, enhance, and make it better. It has to provide a benefit.
Simplify, enhance,
and make it better with a benefit.
So simplify. So let's take, so we did climate change. We're going to finish up with, I don't know if we have time. Let's see, relationships. How do we have better? Simplify. So we can use that, right? Simplify, enhance the relationship, and make it better.
Right.
With the kindness, right? To each other. Yeah.
Kindness and respect, and communicate.
Years ago, when we went to grade school, we were given word problems that colluded so many of the issues, and there were so many ancillary functions in there that were unnecessary. And you pretty much had to sift out what's the given and what's the solution you're looking for. Everything else is in between, is the journey, and it's the minutia. And that's what we're all caught up in this world today, is the minutia that's clouding the issue. Nobody's looking at what's the given, what do we have, and what's the solution we're looking for.
Yeah.
Simplify.
Yeah. I love that.
We can solve it.
I love that. Well, we're up against the end of the show. I just am so delighted that you were able to take time and join me. Any last one word that you have?
Yes, thank you. Kudos to you for putting out a show like this. And I know Ron's honored, and please know that I am, because I'm just plain honored and proud to be on this program. I really am.
I am.
Thank
likewise.
you. Thank you so much.
I love you so much, both of you. Here we go. Peace in, peace out. World peace through inner peace. This is Dr. Marissa reporting live from my living room with the amazing Ron and Arlene Klein. I hope you've taken at least one nugget away about relationships and about helping ourselves, and humankind, emphasis on kind. This is Dr. Marissa. Hope you have the best weekend ever. And we'll see you on Monday with Karen Stuth talking about words and the world. Have the best day ever.
Bye-bye. Thank you again.
Thank you.